In Apex 23.2, you can make a working copy of an app to fix a bug or add a feature, then selectively merge your changes back into the main application. Let's see it in practice in a simple example. Pat, the development manager, works in a small team on a human resources app. She periodically exports the app and checks the team's progress into source control in GitHub. She also creates tickets to track new features and bug fixes and assigns them to developers Mark and Grace. Here we see ticket number 2 assigned to Mark to add department pages and a list of values, and ticket number 3 assigned to Grace to add employee pages. We'll see Mark create a working copy of the app and name it HR2 after the ticket number he's working on. And Grace will do the same, choosing the name HR3 after her ticket number. They work as long as needed on their changes on their respective working copies. When Mark is happy with his changes, he'll merge them back into the main application. At any time, Grace can refresh her working copy from the main app to pick up any changes other teammates have done while she's been working on her working copy. When Grace is ready, she chooses which changes to merge. If some work is still ongoing, she can keep her working copy around and rename it for clarity to continue working on the remaining changes. Mark and Grace's features will be part of the next main application export that Pat checks into source control in Git. In team development, Mark looks at the next work item in his queue. He notes down the page range Pat has asked him to use for his new pages and starts work on his task. In the main app, he locks the home page to let teammates know he's working on that page. Then he creates a working copy named HR2 to implement his changes. The HR2 badge shows Mark the working copy he's using, and the working copy drop-down menu lets him take working copy actions as needed or switch back to the main app. In her browser, Grace checks her queue and starts to work on ticket number 3 to add employee pages. She creates a working copy of the HR app named HR3 and uses the Create Page wizard to create an interactive report and form for the emp table. She's careful to use page number 130 for the employee's report page and 131 for the employee form page. This ensures that any new pages she creates in her working copy won't clash with page numbers used by other teammates in their working copy when they merge back to the main app. Using the breadcrumb for her working copy, she navigates back to see all pages, and her 2 new pages are there. If she switches to look at the main application, her new employee pages are not part of the main app yet. She switches back to the HR3 working copy and continues her work. In the meantime, Mark's made progress on his HR2 deliverables. He created report and form pages for departments, as well as the list of values for departments. The last change he needs to make is to change the series and axis labels in the chart on the home page. After updating these labels, he saves his changes and chooses Merge into Main from the Working Copy drop-down menu. The Apex Builder exports the main application, followed by the Working Copy application, and shows Mark the list of component and page differences between them. He can confirm what he's added and changed, and click on any component or page to view the individual diffs. Using the arrow buttons, he can navigate between the changes. He sees exactly the only 2 label changes he made, so everything looks good, and he's ready to merge. Mark clicks Next, sees that Apex will back up the target app before doing the merge, and chooses to delete his working copy after the merge since he doesn't need it anymore. After clicking Confirm Merge, Mark's changes are now part of the main application. The only thing left for Mark to do is unlock the home page so teammates know they can modify it again. Checking back in with Grace working on ticket 3, she chooses Refresh Working Copy to pull Mark's latest changes into her working copy. She could review the diffs and select what to pull in, but she's talked to Mark and proceeds to pull in all changes. In the employee page, Grace can now use the department's LOV that Mark just merged into main. She changes the P131 DepNo page item to be a select list, chooses the LOV department's list of values, and saves her changes. In her browser tab, with her working copy app running, she verifies that her change is working. After reviewing Mark's latest changes, Pat asked Grace to try out a different idea for the homepage to show salary and commission in a stacked bar chart. After locking the homepage again in main, Grace plows ahead to make it so. She sets the title of the salary series back to salary and adds a commission series. Then she configures the bar chart to be stacked and refreshes the homepage in her browser to see her results. Pat asks Grace to merge the changes related to the original HR3 ticket, but not the homepage yet. Grace selects Merge into Main from the Working Copy drop-down menu and deselects the change in page 1 to avoid merging that. Since Grace wants to keep working on the homepage change, she confirms the merge and keeps the working copy around. For clarity, she switches back to her working copy and renames it to Grace Work in Progress. Pat sees both HR2 and HR3 tickets have been closed and runs the main app. She sees Mark's department pages, Grace's employees pages using Mark's department LOV, and the chart on the home page as Mark merged it, since the change she asked Grace to make wasn't merged in yet. Pat proceeds to export the latest version of the main app to check it into source control. You've seen how a working copy lets you make changes with confidence, knowing you won't disturb the main app until you're happy with your edits. We're excited to see how the Apex community uses working copies in their daily development.